Thanks for joining us. We're excited to walk you through Oklahoma Joe's Longhorn Combo Grill Easy Assembly. Let's get started. You'll need the following tools for today's assembly. Before we get started, make sure you have a friend or family member available to help you during certain steps of the assembly. Be sure to assemble your grill on a level, protective surface to prevent damage to the unit. To maintain the finish and protect your new grill from damage, assemble this product on a blanket or soft protective pad. For ease of product removal, cut all four corners with a utility knife and allow the carton panels to lay flat as shown. Be sure to wear protective gloves while cutting the carton. You'll want to be sure to remove all parts from the interior of the grill before we begin. Let's get started. Begin with the short legs and slide one 12mm flat washer onto axle, followed by a wheel and then another 12mm flat washer. Slide the hitch pin clip into the hole at the end of the axle. This step requires two people. With one person on the smoke chamber end, roll the unit onto the cardboard. Slide the short legs onto the posts at right side with the wheels facing outward. Slide the long legs onto the posts at the opposite end. Secure each leg and leg post by screwing one hex head bolt through the leg until it reaches the leg post. Do not fully tighten the bolts, but make sure they are tight enough that they do not fall off. Attach the bottom shelf to the legs using the screws and flange nuts. Make sure to avoid tightening the screws at this time. With the assistance of a helper, stand the unit up onto its legs. Once it's standing, fully tighten the four leg bolts against the leg walls. Insert the tank exclusion right end into the holes on the bottom shelf. Then align the left end of the tank exclusion with the holes on the long legs and slide into place. Next, use 4 bolts and 4 flange nuts to attach the warming plate to the lid of the firebox. For step 6, you'll connect the firebox lid and the firebox bottom using the 4 bolts and 4 flange nuts. Step 7 has 2 parts. First, you'll attach the handle to the firebox lid using 4 bolts and 4 flange nuts. Then you'll attach the side handle to the firebox bottom using 2 bolts and 2 flange nuts. Now connect the firebox and the smoker chamber using 8 lock washers, flat washers, and nuts. Be sure to tighten securely. For this step, it's important to note that the smokestack gets installed from the inside of the smoke chamber, not the outside. Insert the charcoal smokestack through the hole in the charcoal lid. Secure it using 2 bolts and 2 flange nuts. Step 10 has 3 parts. Part 1. Attach the right side fascia to the side shelf with 4 self-tap screws. Next, pre-assemble 4 bolts and 4 flange nuts loosely to the right side panel of the smoker. Then hang the side shelf onto the screws, but do not tighten them at this time. Finally, align the side fascia to the main control panel and secure it with 2 screws. Now tighten the 4 bolts. Next, insert the side burner valve into the fascia, place the bezel on fascia, and then install 2 screws through bezel, fascia, and into valve B. Press the control knob onto the side burner valve stem. For step 12, attach the side burner to the side burner shelf and align the venturi tube with the valve outlet. Then use 2 locking nuts to secure the burner and attach the side burner igniter wire to the electrode. Lastly, insert the side burner grate into place. Place 3 heat tents onto the bracket in the firebox over the burners. Next, place the charcoal grate assembly into the charcoal grill bottom and the charcoal grate into the firebox bottom. Place 2 smaller cooking grates into the firebox. Then, place 4 large cooking grates into the 2 cooking chambers. Almost done. Now slide the grease cup into the mounting bracket from the back of smoker chamber. Remove the electronic ignition module cap, install the battery positive out, and reinstall the cap. Before we get started with step 18, remember the LP cylinder is sold separately. Fill and leak check the cylinder before attaching it to the grill and regulator. Once the cylinder has been filled and leak checked, place the cylinder into the hole in the bottom shelf. Secure the cylinder with a tank secure screw under the bottom shelf. See the use and care section of the manual to perform the burner flame check and for important instructions before use. Lastly, install one temperature gauge into the threaded bushing located on each lid. Align each gauge and then secure it with a jam nut. When tightening the temperature gauge, be careful as to not use the face of the gauge. All right, you have finished assembling your Longhorn Combo Grill. Go to oklahomajoes.com for recipe inspiration and more.